this week. I am actually doing a week-long video every day of tracheostomy stuff, and the reason for that is it's Tracheostomy Awareness Week, and if you don't follow us, my daughter has a tracheostomy. So today I'm going to be talking to you about suctioning, and a lot of you guys asked about suctioning, and I've wanted to do this video for like forever, but this week just gives me a good reason to make this video. So when you need to suction, like what you're suctioning up is in the trach. When you probably heard it in videos, Hannah will start getting gurgly or sometimes even whistly, and that's when you need to suction. And so what is in the trach when you need to suction is just the same stuff that me and you would cough up, except for that the trach is put in, and it's so hard for Hannah to push anything up and over the trach. Like your vocal cords are up here, so everything just gets pushed out the trach instead. But there isn't enough power to push it out, so she just needs a little bit of help with suctioning. I'll just show you with this suction catheter. So this is the suction machine right here, if you can see that in the back. I'm not going to show you that right now, but I will demonstrate what the machine is. For her trach, all you're doing is putting the suction catheter in 7.5, which it is labeled. It is marked, which I think you can see that. Putting it into the trach while you're holding this, and obviously I wouldn't have to hold the trach normally, so I would have a little bit of extra hand. So you're just putting it into the trach, and you're only putting it into there, and as you can see, it's only just barely coming out of the tip of the trach. And what you're doing is just clearing it out. So any of that mucus, you're just getting rid of it. And the reason that trachs have need more suctioning than we would cough up stuff is because your upper airway actually filters everything, so it makes it warmer, filters out dust and everything like that. So when you're breathing out of the trach, you're not filtering anything. Like you can put an HME on, but it's still, stuff gets into your airway and then irritates it, and the cold or like the hot and all of that. So then your body just produces more mucus to like protect itself. Like it doesn't want to dry out, it doesn't want to have like dust particles or perfume or hairspray or whatever in your lungs, because that's bad for you. So it just produces a little bit more mucus. So that is why trachs need more suctioning and more care than like a regular child will. Like regular childs never need to be suctioned, but it does require more attention than like a regular person. It is important to clear the secretions from the tracheostomy tube for multiple reasons. Any secretions that are like left just sitting into the trach can actually catch bacteria and grow and cause a chest infection. So that is one reason that it's important to clear the secretions from a trach. As well as you want to clear the secretions so that it's easier to breathe. Because obviously, like, you know when your nose is plugged, you can't, like, it's annoying not to be breathing out of your nose. But imagine if, like, you had, like, tonsillitis and your throat was, like, all swollen up and down, like, your nose was stuffed and you couldn't breathe. Well, I'm sure that's what it feels like when you have secretions in your trach. But you also don't want to over-suction, because the more that you have to suction, the more your body is going to produce mucus. So if you're suctioning her when she doesn't need to be suctioned, then her body is going to be like, I need to produce more mucus, because it is like a sucking motion. So it is like pulling stuff out, and if there isn't really anything easily to pull out, then your body is going to start producing more stuff. So it isn't good to over-suction, but it isn't good to under-suction. You know when they need to be suctioned because they'll make this like rattly, kind of like gurgly sound. Or I found, this wasn't something that I was warned about in the hospital, if their secretions get like dry and they're stuck in there or something, it sounds like a whistly wheeze noise. And a lot of the time, like, I've had nurses think that she is wheezing, give her puffers and stuff, but actually what it is secretions have dried in the air. The hole is getting smaller, so it's making a whistly noise while she breathes through it. So when that happens, you just have to put a few drops of saline into the trach and then immediately suction right afterwards, and then the sound usually goes away. Maybe you'll have to do it like a couple times after that, but it usually goes away. For how often she needs to be suctioned, say she only gets suctioned a handful of times a day as long as she's healthy. You definitely need to suction more in the morning when they're first waking up, because they've just like laid all night and haven't like moved their secretions and stuff around. Like you're laying flat, and then when you like start like moving, it's like breaking stuff up and it's like coming up. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's pretty much what's happening. And then so for the rest of the day, she only needs like a suction like a handful of times, and at night, if she's healthy, she only needs a suction like maybe twice. But if she's sick, she could need suctioning from anywhere from like every minute to every couple minutes to a few times an hour to, it's just unpredictable how much they need to suction. Now that I've talked about why what is sectioning, like what are you sectioning and all of that, I thought I would demonstrate on a manual section what it's like to suction up stuff. This is the manual section. So why you would use this is if this one is broken or if it was dead, and a few times we've gone out and a nurse has forgotten to charge it, and the battery only lasts on these things for an hour. That's an hour on, so you only need to have it on for like a minute when you're sectioning, but then you turn it off. But if they need to be sectioned a lot, or if it didn't get charged, it can die. So you want to always have this with you. And I don't think I've posted this yet, but I will be doing a video of everything that we have to bring out with her, like any emergency supplies. So this is definitely in it. This is what it looks like, and it works the same as this, except for that instead of having a machine that's going to suck everything out, you actually have to suck everything out. So I'm going to demonstrate by sucking up some pop, and this is how I learned how to do it in the hospital. It sounds a little bit weird, but hopefully it'll help you guys understand what sectioning is more like. Okay, so I'm going to put this end, which would be the end that you put into the trach, into the pop. And then I'm going to use this end. So there's a hole right here that you want to cover with your finger while you're sucking. And I'm going to put this in my mouth and just suck in. And as you can see, none of it came out to the tube that I was sucking from. It just came into this little trap. And obviously if you suck up too much, it will dump out and start coming in here. And that is really gross because that's secretions, and that's just disgusting. You don't want that in your mouth. But in an emergency situation, this is how you would get secretions out. So now that I have shown you what a manual section looks like, this is what our suction bag looks like, and you've obviously seen this in videos before. It has two pockets on the side, and in one pocket we just keep suction catheters, and the suction catheters you change every 6 hours unless if they're sick. And we also keep a couple of these saline, I don't know what it's called, bullets. So this is what I was talking about. This is what you would, saline that you would drop into the trach if she got whistly and there was secretion stuck. And then on the other side is a hand sanitizer, because your hands are supposed to be clean when you're sectioning. You don't have to clean them every time when you're at home. Nurses should be hand sanitizing or putting on gloves before they suction no matter what. But when you're out and about, you definitely want to have hand sanitizer. This is saline, and this is how we clean the suction catheters, because you only change them every 6 hours or so. So you want to rinse the suction catheter with this, and I'll show you that in a couple minutes. We also keep some gloves for the nurses because they should either be washing their hands or putting on gloves. And definitely putting on gloves when they're out, I think, is the policy. I try not to focus too much on the policies or I'd probably go insane. So inside this is what it looks like, and this is just the suction tubing. And then right here I have taped, this is because it's broken at the moment, but I've taped a measuring tape in case if you can't see the numbers on the suction catheter that I showed you earlier, because sometimes it's dark and these are really small numbers. You can just quickly look down and kind of see approximately how much it is, because you don't want to push the suction catheter in too deep or you will cause damage in her throat. So yeah, you want to be really careful. So I just have that taped there, and then this is just what the machine looks like, and it is loud. This is what it sounds like outside of the package. And then it does muffle up the sound a little bit, but it is really loud. So for cleaning the suction catheter, this would be already open and it would be full of gunk because you just suctioned up the trach. So you would have this on already. And then you would just put this in the saline until it was clear and that all of this had run through the tube. And then you just close it up and put it back in. Everything that I needed to tell you about sectioning. That's just the basics, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check back tomorrow for another video to do with tracheostomies, and yeah, have a good day. Bye.